This is the brand new 16-inch MacBook Pro. This is pretty much everything that I think we have all wanted in an upgrade in the MacBook Pro. We have a bigger screen, faster performance, better battery life, more RAM. You can spec this thing out to an 8 TB solid state drive and 64 gigs of RAM. And of course, a redesigned keyboard, although I have had no problems with my butterfly keyboard, but this is now using a new scissor mechanic. And that keyboard design is being modeled after the Magic keyboards that we all love that come with the iMacs. This 16-inch MacBook is now going to be replacing the 15-inch models. So let's unbox this and take a first look at the brand new 16-inch Retina MacBook Pro. How many times am I gonna say 16-inch Retina MacBook Pro in this video? Probably like 500. Oh man, it does come in two colors, the silver and the space gray. So this is the space gray version. Oh my gosh, I need a moment. That smells like red velvet cake. The new MacBook is 4.3 pounds. The previous gen 15-inch that I have right here, which looks like an absolute mess, is 4 pounds. Side-by-side comparison. Just in my mind, I know that this one is heavier, but just holding the two, I can't really tell. If you're wondering what this is on my old MacBook, this is Velcro that I use to attach my external hard drives to. This MacBook will soon be getting the Velcro treatment, but not right now because it's too beautiful and pristine. This has the same I/O ports as the previous gen. It has 4 USB-C and Thunderbolt 3 ports. You can also connect 2 Pro XDR displays. I got a chance to see those things at WWDC, and up close, they are so beautiful. Of course, we have our USB-C cable. I think we've all seen one of these before. Are there Apple stickers? Perhaps. And they're space gray. The new charging brick is now 96 watts, so they made this a little bit more powerful, but it still is the same size and form factor as the previous bricks. That was like a nice paper feel. Usually it's like a plastic. You can get this in 2 different configurations. There's the 2.6 GHz 6-core Intel i7, and there's a 2.3 GHz 8-core Intel Core i9. Let's boot this thing up, and what's really exciting is this entire video that you guys are watching right now, I'm going to be editing on this MacBook. Oh my gosh, it's already starting up. I'm gonna get this thing set up. I'll see you guys in a second. Because I have iCloud on, all of my files are synced, so my terrible, messy desktop that I have on my other laptop is now populating onto this one. One of the biggest highlights for this new keyboard is the return of the actual physical escape key. Now, if you do a lot of coding or programming, even in editing, I need that escape key, and having it be just on the digital touch bar, you would sometimes have to do several presses to get back to that. But now the escape key is back, and they also redesigned the arrow keys. This is also going back to one of the older designs because the new butterfly keyboard, these arrow keys, the left and the right, are full-size squares, and it's basically the same size as the up and down. The speakers have also been updated. They have a new 6-speaker sound system, and they have an updated microphone that's supposed to give you studio quality recording in a 3-microphone array. Let's test out these speakers by listening to what I always test out, music. Tool. Oh my gosh, is this loud? This sounds incredible. So I'm gonna open up GarageBand, and now I'm gonna test out what it sounds like using the internal microphone. The new MacBooks also ship with Catalina, which is great because I honestly haven't updated my current MacBook yet. So this is really the first time that I'm getting to have a MacBook experience with Catalina. So first, let's test the audio on the new 16-inch MacBook Pro. Hi, hello. This is Justine reporting to you not live in a room that is slightly echoey. So if you do hear a little bit of that background noise, that's because I'm in a massive room that is not soundproof. Now let's move on to the previous gen 15-inch MacBook Pro. Looking at these two things side by side, wow, I cannot wait to get to editing on this thing. So let's take a look at the size comparison. Obviously, this one is larger because it is a larger screen. Surprising that it's not that much larger considering you're getting an entire inch more of screen real estate. Look at this. Here's the size difference between the 15 and the 16-inch. You can tell right around here, but the real difference is looking at the screen. But here they are. side by side. And if you take a look, you can notice the smaller bezels around the side of the new MacBook as opposed to the old one. And obviously you can tell which one is the old one, not only by the smudges, but by the size of the bezels. So the screen brightness on both of these is the same. It's 500 nits. The trackpad is also the same size. And again, the keyboard is where the real updates also lie. So the keys are a little bit more tactile, so I feel like when you're pressing down, you actually feel like you're pressing a real key as opposed to the butterfly keyboard. It's a little more gentle, I guess you could say. But I'm really excited about these upgrades, especially having the separate escape key, the updated arrow keys, and also this standalone Touch ID button. I'll be doing a bigger video diving into some more of the great things about this MacBook, but since this is just a first look, the initial reaction to seeing this screen, like it's larger, but it doesn't feel like the overall footprint of the computer is actually larger. I'm sure many of us remember the 17-inch MacBooks that they used to have, and those things just felt significantly larger. They also felt really heavy. This feels like I'm almost using my 15-inch MacBook, but just with a larger screen. I'm gonna plug this in because I have to hop on a flight here very shortly, and I'd like to have a full battery for the flight so I can edit. And speaking of battery, not only have they managed to put the largest capacity battery that you can put in here that will allow you to still fly with this, it's powering faster processors, a larger screen, and you'll still get an extra hour of battery life. They're saying that you'll get about 11 hours of battery, whereas the 15-inch you'll get 10 hours. And obviously battery life depends on what you're doing. For me, when I'm editing, there is no way I would get 11 hours of battery life, but any extra battery life is appreciated. I'd like the charging brick will give us more power. I mean, this thing is so incredibly powerful. When you think about how much they have crammed inside of this MacBook, it's shocking, especially an 8TB solid state drive. Trying to get an 8TB solid state drive right now, just as a portable drive, is almost impossible. So to have that internal on your computer is so amazing. Not only for me as a video editor is this gonna be incredible because obviously huge file sizes, but right now I'm lugging around 2TB solid state drives that are just portable. But now with 8TB, like I'm not even gonna need to be editing off of those externals anymore. For photographers, you'll be able to store all of your raw images directly on here. You won't have to edit from separate drives. And I cannot wait to test out Sidecar. Since I've been holding off on updating to Catalina, for Final Cut specifically, I'm excited about using that when I travel because I'll be able to have all of my files and use that as a file browser. And I can just be focusing on doing most of my editing and color correction directly on the MacBook. Another pretty impressive thing is they've managed to make the price of this computer the same price as the 15-inch MacBooks. So you'll be able to get one of these starting at $23.99 as the base model. And the 9-core is $27.99, which is pretty impressive if you think about it. So basically they're taking this new 16-inch and replacing the 15-inch Pro model and still managing to keep it the same price. Well guys, this was just a first look at the new MacBook Pro. I am extremely excited because my entire life revolves around video editing, production, and being on the go. So being able to just have this device, this is really going to change everything. Obviously the 15-inch MacBook Pro that I had previously was beyond incredible. I've edited so many videos on that thing, and now just with the increased speed and the amount that I am traveling, I will be able to have a much faster turnaround time. I'll be doing some further testing and video editing and really pushing this thing to the limits, but for now I have to hop on a plane and I'm gonna take this footage that I've shot right now and I'm going to edit this video for you guys. It's time to transfer footage for the first time onto the new MacBook Pro. So I've been shooting with the Atomos Ninjas, and these all record externally to solid state drives. So we'll just plug this in, and we're gonna transfer our first bit of data to the new MacBook. Eating and editing is a true talent. I like to call this editing. just landed. This is basically a less than 24-hour turnaround time video. I've been editing all day, we shot all day. Now I gotta get some dinner. We're in an entirely different state. I'm actually in Nashville to go to Good Morning America this week, so that's super exciting. But of course, the editing never stops. I'm so close to finishing this video. I just honestly cannot believe how fast this computer is. It is so fast even compared to my previous Gen 15-inch MacBook, which is completely specced out. Back to editing. I'll see you guys in a second. My keyboard is greasy. It's cold. Oh. And here's my final edit. I am officially exhausted. I'm not even sure how long this consecutively took me because I've been editing so sporadically throughout this trip, but the video is done. And the one thing that I did notice is because this has increased cooling, they have all new fan architecture, and I definitely noticed a difference because I edit a lot with my MacBook sitting on my lap. And normally you can tell that the computer starts getting hot, the fans will start spinning up, and the processes will start slowing down a little bit. But this time I was editing a lot in the car with the laptop on my lap, and it stayed significantly cooler than my previous gen. Definitely looking forward to testing this out more. I was going to shoot more of a recap for you guys, but basically I'm loving it so far. It's super fast. I look forward to testing this out more, so let me know if there's anything specifically you guys would like for me to test on here. If you have any questions, be sure to ask me them in the comments below, and I will try to answer some in the next video. In the meantime, me and this laptop and my AirPods, we're going to bed. See you soon, internet.